Hey there, I'm Lynn Carpenter with Blissful Heart Coaching. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video. Today, I'm going to cover a topic that's very personal to me. It's good girl conditioning. It's more commonly known as people pleasing, saying yes when you mean no, not setting boundaries, not speaking your truth, because it's more important to be liked and not judged harshly than to be your whole, worthy, authentic self. So, for most of us, pleasing starts in childhood. Our brains are hardwired for safety and connection or attachment. So, as children, when we're scolded by our parents or society, that threatens our innate need for safety and connection. So, we'll throw our authenticity out the window in order to keep the relationship intact. We need that safety and connection. It's important to note that it's not your fault. However, it is your responsibility to break free from this toxic habit, because when we leave our homes with our parents and we step into adulthood, we don't just stop the pleasing. It's such a habit that it's an automatic response. It's how we show up in our lives. Today, we're going to cover how to break free from this good girl conditioning. And I remember the exact moment that my good girl conditioning set in. I was 6 years old, and my mom loved to have me compete in these little pageants. And I'd won a local pageant, and I was at the state level. And I went into the interview portion of the pageant. I walked into a room, and there were 5 or 6 judges all sitting on one side of a very long table. And there was a single chair on the opposite side of the table, and they invited me to sit down. And next to that chair was a plate stacked high with chocolate chip cookies. And I took several bites of the cookie throughout the interview. When the interview ended, I walked out into the hallway where my mother was waiting for me. And she saw the half-eaten cookie, and she said, "What is that?" And I said, "It's a cookie. They offered me a cookie. Wasn't that nice?" And she said, "Oh my God, you've blown it, Lynn. That was a trick. They wanted to see if you would talk and eat at the same time." She was so angry. And I felt so much shame. And in that moment, this was unconscious. I didn't, in my mind, think this, but in that moment, I unconsciously created this Photoshop version of myself because I never, ever wanted to feel that horrible pain and shame again. It became my mission to be well liked, to not be judged harshly, so that I could be loved and accepted. This conditioning is strong because it's reinforced over and over again. Society, family, friends, we're taught to be nice girls, to be accommodating, to put everyone else's needs first. And we're rewarded with the approval and safety of keeping the peace. And don't get me wrong, being kind and generous, it's a good thing, but not when it's at the expense of our truth, of our authenticity. So let's talk about how to break free from this conditioning. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's not easy. It's a journey, it's a process. It requires mindfulness, it requires being uncomfortable, and it requires being willing to have your own back when you're not getting approval from others. So the first step is to really take a pause. If someone asks you to do something, don't just automatically do what you've always done and say, "Yeah, okay." No, we got to stop. So you need to learn to slow down, take a breath, and check in with yourself. What's my truth? And you may even need to ask for some extra time. Hey, can I sleep on this? Can I think about this and I'll get back with you tomorrow? That's perfectly acceptable to do. So learn to slow down. Take that breath. Pause. Is this a yes or a no for me? And if it's a no, say no, which takes me to step 2. And that's to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I know it's hard. Trust me. Trust me. Say no and setting a boundary and maintaining the boundary. It's not going to always go over well if people are so used to you just being accommodating and saying yes to whatever. But I want you to hear me. The people that really are your people, that really matter, they want you to be real. They want you to be authentic. And if setting a boundary is not met with acceptance, you may have some relationships fall off, but those aren't your people. And I know this is a hard one because you have spent your whole life wanting to be loved and accepted. Hear me. The people that matter, they want you to be authentically you. And the third step is to speak your truth in small ways. Hopefully you've got some people in your life that are safe, that feel safe to you, and learn to speak your truth. I think I was 50 before I realized that, you know what, my opinion is every bit as valid as everyone else's. I am worthy of having my own opinion, and it may not be well received by everyone, but that's okay. There's so many billions of people on the planet, and we're all unique. We need to be real. We need to be authentic, and the world truly does need that. So start practicing speaking your truth. And again, it's going to require that you get comfortable with discomfort. Remember, breaking free from good girl conditioning is about reclaiming your voice, stepping into your worth. You don't have to play small to be loved. In fact, the people who truly love and support you want you to be you, not the Photoshop version that you've created to avoid judgment or conflict. If you're ready to stop living for others and to start living authentically, then please subscribe to my channel because we've got a lot more to talk about with boundaries and trauma responses, speaking your truth, having your own back, and learning to comfort yourself and your inner child. A lot of this is going to really require that you build a relationship with your inner child. This work can get heavy, but it can also be fun. And I'm going to teach you how to make it fun by building a relationship and really connecting with that inner child who's really the one that's driving the bus with all of this people-pleasing behavior. I hope you'll leave me a comment below and let me know what you're ready to start saying no to.